As has been mentioned, this symposium brings together researchers and policymakers and various stakeholders to discuss research findings that revolve around the relationship and impact of NCDs on issues related to the context of uncertainty, such as displacement, migration, war, conflict, socio-political transformation, demographic transitions, and what have you. Developing public health in times of uncertainty has been the main challenge of Dean Iman Nuwayhid and the Faculty of Health Sciences at AUB. Before I give the floor to Dr. Nuwayhid, I want to really reiterate what has been mentioned. We're living here, FHS and AUB will be celebrating the 60th anniversary of its establishment immediately after the symposium, that is on December 5 and 6. As you can see, we're witnessing days of joy and celebration in Lebanon with this. Dr. Iman Nuwayhid, you have the floor. Thank you.
Good morning, Sabah al-Khair. I have 4 minutes. It's a pleasure to have you all here. This is really a special time. So distinguished guests, friends, and colleagues, on behalf of the Faculty of Health Sciences at the American University of Beirut, it gives me great pleasure to welcome you all to Lebanon. It was truly a privilege for the Faculty of Health Sciences and AUB to work closely with other partner institutions under RESCAP-MED on putting this conference together. On this occasion, I would like to thank Professor Peter Ferrymore from Newcastle, as well as Professor Abla Sba'i from AUB, for their leadership in this respect, and through them, to the members of the scientific and organizing committees. I also extend my thanks to the European Union for their support of RESCAP and this conference. Is there a representative for the EU in the meeting? Okay. Okay, because we could have worked on that. I will not engage in the theme and content of the conference, which you will discuss and debate in details today and tomorrow. Instead, I will share 2 thoughts. First one is I would like to applaud the RESCAP and the organizers for addressing the socio-political context of NCDs in our region. It's true that we know a lot about NCDs, and we have identified a list of short-term and long-term interventions at the individual. I'm confused about using my glasses or not. For some reason, it's not focused. Although we have identified a list of short-term and long-term interventions at the individual, community, and policy levels, but these interventions have not been tested in the context of wars and conflicts, or in the context of failing or disintegrating states, or in the context of porous national health systems, and in the context of mobility and displacement. The thought of managing NCDs among refugees, even that thought among managing NCDs among refugees is in itself a challenge to the acute emergency mode that dominates humanitarian reliefs. This is new. In humanitarian reliefs, you don't think about NCDs. So for us to start integrating NCDs in humanitarian relief is actually a new addition. These new contexts, as sad as they are, will provide us a wealth of information and knowledge on NCD prevention and management that can be transferred not only to other humanitarian crises, but also can be used in states in normal situations. So there's a lot that we can learn. Although we're all sad about what's happening around us, there's a lot we can learn when we put all of these policies and interventions to test under these hardships. On December 5 and 6 of this week, as Dr. Nabil Romful mentioned, our Faculty of Health Sciences will hold a conference on public health in context of uncertainty on the occasion of its 60th anniversary. The theme of our conference, like yours, indulges in an attempt to better understand how we can research, teach, and practice public health at times of transition and turmoil, noting that uncertainty is not limited to our region or to war zones, but it's also applicable to other regions and the whole world, which faces a lot of economic and environmental and political uncertainties. So the idea of uncertainty being limited to one region or to our region only, I think it's important to just think of uncertainty as a global challenge and not only as a regional challenge. My second thought actually relates to the virtue of networks, especially at these times. Although the Arab uprisings since 2011 have taken different paths, and some have turned violent, we should remember that in all of them, people expressed a common quest for a voice and a say in determining their future. Most of us are by now perhaps disillusioned with these uprisings, and we are all worried that the successes achieved in bringing down barriers and obstacles are now being replaced by new obstacles and new barriers that are being erected. Networks, hence, like RESCAP, are a breath of fresh air in this situation. RESCAP, in particular, is an example of a network of researchers and institutions between and among European and Mediterranean countries. We need these networks as the challenges to health cannot be surmounted if we each work in isolation. These networks break silos. They encourage collaboration between researchers and institutions. They facilitate comparative research. They build capacity, especially of young researchers. And they take risks with new ideas and with new projects that none of us as single institutions might dare actually to do that. I hope that the EU continues to support such a network. It will be a pity to see networks actually being cut off funding at the time when they started actually having impact on the region and building their structure. So I want to reiterate at the end my thanks to all of you, organizers, speakers, and participants. And I hope and I'm sure we'll all have a great conference as well. I wish you all a pleasant stay in Beirut. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Nuwayhid.